Hello friends, welcome again. Now in this session we will see another lead code problem which is quite famous problem. It's a hard category and under the category of window functions, right? So let us see how to solve this, and again we will take a step by step approach to solve this. The problem name is tournament winners. Now what does the problem say? The problem say that we have a players table. Player ID is the primary key of this table. Each row of this table indicates the group of each player. That means they will mention the player ID and under which group this person or player is. Right? So it will be something like this: player ID, group ID, player ID, group ID. Player ID is unique, and in a one group there can be multiple players like this. In one group, you see there are four players. In group two, there are three players. Group three, there are two players like that. Now another table is matches table. Match ID is the primary key talking about one particular match. Each row is a record of a match where we have first player and the second player, right? So first player contains the first player ID, second player contains second player ID. First score means the score which first player created or scored, and second score means the score which second player scored. Right? First score and second score contain the number of points of first player and second player respectively. You see this. You may assume that in each match, players belong to the same group. That means if let's say one match is happening, right? If we talk about player 15 and player 45, both will be from group 1 only, right? They are saying to assume that, right? They won't be from different groups. So matches are happening within same groups, kind of. Okay? Now, what they want us to find out, the winner in each group is the player who scored maximum total points within the group, right? So, winner is the person. So, we have to find the winner in each group. Let's say we say winner in group 1 is player ID 15. How we will find if this player ID 15 has scored maximum in group 1, right? So in case of a tie, that means in one group, if there are two people with the same score, then the lowest player ID wins, right? This is a tiebreaker, kind of. So write a solution to find winner in each group. Now, if you see, these are the two tables. This table just talk about player ID and in which group this player is. This talks about matches, match ID 1, player 15, player ID 15, player ID 45. This player ID 15 score 3 points and this player ID 45 scored 0 points. Right? Now this 15 could have been this side also as a second player in some other game, by the way. Right? Now we want this as the answer. Why we want this as the answer? Because you see in group 1, right? In group 1, player ID 15 has the maximum score. You see this, right? In group 2, player ID 35 has the maximum score. In group 3, player ID 40 has the maximum score. That's what we want. How do we approach this solution? See, if we do not know window function, then life will be very difficult for us if we are solving these kind of problems. So we will see how to solve this. I'm on my document. Now, given these two, given these two as input, right? I'll write it here. Given players table and matches table as the input, I want match ID, right? First of all, what I want is match ID, player and score. That means I will take this table, matches table, and what I want is I want to just say, okay, match ID 1, player 15, score 3. Match ID 2, player 30, score 1. Right? Again, you see for this match, let's say for this match, there will be two rows. Match ID 1, player 15 score 3. Match ID 1, player 15 score 3. Match ID 1, player 45 score 0 will also be there. Match ID 1, player 45 score 0. That means instead of just 6 columns, I want, instead of 5 columns, I want 3 columns. That means, okay, I want to understand for each row, I want to divide in 2 rows, right? Where this I want to get rid of first player, second player, first score, second score, rather player and score. So I want to divide or make it neat so that this 5 rows are converted to 10 rows, and for each row we will get 2 rows. So for example, match id 2, player id 30, and score 1, right? Match id 2, player id 25, score 2, 2, 25, 2, right? That's how we want. How to get this? First of all, how do I get this? So of course, only one table is required for this matches table. And what I can do, I can just say select, select. So I'm taking a step-by-step approach. I'm showing you what's my thought process to solve it. Select match ID, right? Player, sorry, first player as player, first player as player, right? First score as score. That means we are getting the first player thing. From which table? From matches, right? Now I can do a union all, select match ID, match ID, comma, second player as player, right? As player. Now what we can say after that? Second score as score, right? So first we did for this first player and first score, then we are doing for second player and second score as score from matches, right? If I do this, then we are able to divide this table, matches table, from a 5 column thing to a 3 column thing. Let's see. Of course, that's not my final answer. Okay, I have to give this comma. So you can see this. We are getting this now. That means we are refining the structure so that our calculations can become easy later. I hope this is clear. So I will write this comma here. Anyways, okay. So what I can do, I can make it as a CTE. So let's say I will say with CTE as, right, because I have to do a lot of calculations after this. That's not just the only calculation. With CTE as this. Now next, what I want. What do I want? I got this, right? I got this. After this, what do I want? From this structure, I want this structure where I have match ID, player, and score. Match ID, player, score. Apart from that, I want group ID also. Apart from that, I want group ID. How do I get that group ID? See, group ID I can get if I join this, whatever I got, with this table, players table. Right? Group ID is matching between both. So let me do this. So I take this, and what I do now? I will join this, isn't it? I have to join this. So what I can say, select, select, uh, and CTE, right? So this is fine. Select star, comma, right? So what I can do basically is select whatever. Okay, I will put it here later. From which table? From we have two tables now. One is CTE, which we created just now, right? Just now we created the CTE. CTEC join. What is the name? Players P on what? On C dot player ID, right? We can join it based on player, right? You see, we got here this player ID, right? So we join it with this player ID here. So let me just show you that C dot player ID equal to, right, P dot in C we have player, right? The name is player and P dot player ID. In players table, it is named as player ID, but in the CTE that we have defined, it is named as player. You can see this, right? So that's what I want, and I can say select C dot star all columns from the CTE, comma from the players table I want group ID, P dot group ID. Let me just run this and see how this is working. Okay, let's see. You can see this is the output. So we get group ID. We are getting the group ID as expected. So earlier we had this as input. Now we just got group ID. So for this, we have to join it with the players table, right? So that's fine. We got this. Next, what we want to do, right? So right now we can, I mean, since we will be doing further calculation, we can again create this as a CTE. So I can say uh, now CTE joined. This is joint result, right? As I can just say this. And if I say select star from CTE joined, I will still get the same result. Okay. Now what I want is I want this as the result. 1 minute. Okay. Now we already have what as the output? This we have as the output now. From this we want to get this. What is the difference now? What is the difference that is there? We basically want to, for each group, for each group and each player, let's say this group, this player, there are two records now. We want to sum it up, right? So in each group, each player, total score that person has, right? So we have to sum it up. For example, group ID 1 and 30, player 30 in group 1, right? This person scored one goal and two goals, so total is 3. But here we are getting 2 rows. So we have to sum it up based on a combination of group ID and player, right? We have to sum it up basically, group it up and do the sum for group ID and player combination. So let's do that. So I will take this and modify this now, right? So this we have. Now what we can do, uh, select select whatever I will put it from CTE joined, whatever we created earlier. Group by what? Group by group ID and player. Instead of player ID, we have named player, right? So what I will do, group ID and player I will put here. Group ID and player I will put here, comma. What aggregation I want? I want sum of what is this column? Sum of score. Sum of score, and I can say as total score. As total score. That means we are aggregating that how much score each person scored. How many goals each person scored, let's say. Right? So let's see this. I will run, and you can see this group ID, player ID, and total score 3. Group ID, player ID. That means for each combination of group ID and player ID, there will be just one row now. So we have aggregated it, right? We have aggregated it. Now let me again create a CTE for this. I can just give a comma and I will say CTE grouped as this, right? CTE grouped as this. Okay. Now I can always say select star from CTE grouped. I will still get the same results. Now what do we want from this now? Now given this as your input, given this as your input. Now what we want is, I mean, we can rank it up. We can rank it up. That means, okay, we basically for each group, partition by group, order by total score DESC. Right? That's what we want to do. So let's see. So I take this. I take this, and what I will do, I will say, uh, I can say select uh, group ID and player, group ID, comma, player, right? Comma. Now I can use a window function, rank, dance rank, whatever, rank, let's say. Here it does not matter which one, but rank I'm using over partition by. For each group, you have to do that, right? Partition by group ID, order by total score, DESC. That means highest score is at the top, right? And if there is a tie, right, then what was the tiebreaker? That person with lower player ID wins, right? So, comma, player. In our case, player ID is like player, right? That's the name we gave. Okay? And we say as what? Rank from which table? From CTE grouped, right? From CTE group. Let me just run this now. Let me just run this now. Okay. And you can see this. Now, group ID 1, player 15, rank 1. Group ID 1, player 30, rank 2. Now, after this, it's very easy. You just need to pick group ID and player where rank is 1. As simple as that, isn't it? So, now things are very, very easy. So let me again create this as CTE. I mean, I really enjoy using CTEs. So I can say CTE windowed as, right, as this thing. Now from this, I can just say select group ID. In our result, we want group ID and player ID only, right? Player ID. Uh, right? So player, the name is player as player ID because in results we want it as player ID. Uh, from which table? From whatever we have the last CT, right? CT windowed, where rank equal to 1. As simple as that. We pick all the rank ones. So group ID and player ID, this one it will give, this one it will give, and this one it will give, and that's the answer. That's the answer. So let's see. Okay, and this should accept the solution. So you can see our solution has been accepted. So you see window functions, CTEs makes our life so easy, and it looks such a structured and neat approach in order to do that, right? Now I will even show you a approach to do that where the number of lines of code will be less, and we are doing it slightly differently because the way we perform join is will reduce a lot of our work. So I mean, if you are comfortable with this, that's good, but I will show you one more approach to solve the same thing, right? Now approach 2. In approach 2, what I want, see, in the approach 1, whatever I have showed, first I did that from 5 columns I created 3 columns and I did union all, and that took some time, but that is also not required. That is also not required if you think so. What we can do, we can join. So basically, we can join these two tables. We can join these two tables on player ID. So where player ID in players table, player ID should match in matches table first player or second player, right? So we can give a in clause where if this table is p dot player ID in m dot in M, it will be in first player or second player. I'll just show you that what I'm trying to say. So you see, I have joined the first table and the second table, right? Based on both of these columns, I'll just show you that. So what I can do, how do I join these two tables? So assuming that we are starting this problem from very beginning, I want to just join these two tables, and this column has to be joined either with this or this, right? How do we do that? select select p dot star. I want all columns from player table. C dot star, all column from the sorry, m dot star matches table. From players p, join matches m on, what's the condition? P dot player id, right? In, right? Instead of equal to, I'm saying in. What it should be in? M dot, in matches table, M dot first player, right? And M dot second player. Anyone it matches, we will join that. So instead of saying P dot player ID equal to M dot first player or M dot second player, right? We are giving in, right? I hope this makes sense. So let me just run this and show it to you whether it's giving the join results as expected or not. And this is the result of the join. We are able to join both these tables, right? I have joined these two tables. Now what do I want? So basically from this, how do I get this? Group ID, player ID, and total score. So instead of all these columns, first player, second player, first score, second score, how to get rid of it very quickly now? How to get rid of it? We can use a case statement, and I'll just show you that how to do. So I'll just take this. I'll just take this. Right. So right now we have all the columns from both the tables, and we have done a join. That's fine. Now instead of p dot star, I have to say p dot group ID. Right, from players table I want the group id, and I want p dot what, p dot player id. I did dot star just to show you that, but we do not require all columns, right? Comma comma what do we want now? Now we are getting group id, player id, no worries. But this total score, right? Whatever score we have, see, player id 15, group id 1. Now if this 15 is second player, then we have to fetch the second score, right? If this, let's say 15 here, 15 group id 1, if this 15 is first player, we have to fetch score from first score. If 15 is second player, we have to fetch score from second score. So we have to give a criteria like that. So what I can do is comma case when I'll just increase the font. Case when p dot player id equal to, in matches table, is if it is first player, m dot first player, then m dot first score, right? Then m dot first score, else m dot second score, right? Else m dot second score end, right? And what name I will give to this? As total score, right? Total score, that means instead of total score, I should have named it score, because that's not the total. Total is after aggregation, but it's fine for now. So the trick here is, what I'm trying to say, I need the group ID, I need the player ID, and what the score this person scored. Now, this player ID 15 is part of second player, then I should consider this score for him 0. It should not be 2, right? This player ID 15, right? If you see here, it is first player, so I should be understanding this 3 as the score. This 20, player ID 20, 20 is the second player, so I should be seeing this second score. So that's where I have put this case statement. Case when p dot player id equal to first player, then first score, else second score, as total score from this. So let me just run this and see. And you can see I am getting this, right? That means for each group, each player, right, I am getting the scores in each match, right? Match ID is not there, but you see for group ID 1, player ID 15, there are two rows. I mean, we have not still aggregated, right? I hope this is clear. Okay. So we have got this, right? Sorry, we have got this. Now from this to this, how do we get it? How do we get it? I mean, this should be fairly straightforward for you to understand what to do. We have to basically uh, group by, group ID and player ID. So I'm not using CTEs in this case, right? I'm avoiding CTEs because I'm showing a different approach to you. But things become hard when you do not use CTEs as such. So now, whatever this is there, I am getting this result. I want to group by based on group ID and player ID. So I will say group by group ID, comma. So this was uh, P dot from players table, right? And this was P dot player ID. This one, P dot group ID, P dot player ID. And both of them are here. Both of them are here. That's perfect. Now, only thing this one, whatever we are returning here as part of this total score, we have to do some aggregation here. We have to enclose it in some aggregation, and that is sum. We have to sum it up, right? Total score. So I can just say sum, sorry, and I will close it after this and, right? That means I'm summing this up. I'm summing this up. So basically, I take this 1 and 15, right? So in this group, there will be two rows. I sum it up. So total score 3. Then, as part of this, 1 and 30, there are two rows again. 1 and 30, right? So 2 and 1, I sum it up, I get 3, like that. So now if I run this, we would get the aggregated results. Let's see. Let's see, we will get the aggregated results. So you see this now. We have got the aggregated results. For one group ID and player ID combination, we have just one row now. We have just one row. We are very much near to our answer. Now, only thing that we want is 1 minute. Sorry. Okay. Now, what we want is we want to rank it based on this. We got this as the answer. Can we rank it based on group IDs? Right? Can we rank it? You see this rank. That means you have to partition by group ID and order by total score, and then you have to assign a rank. In case of ties, a player with the lesser player ID gets a higher rank, right? So how do you get this now? Given this thing, how do you get this above this thing? So let me show you. So what we can do is we can use a rank function, right? So let me just show that. I can say, so just like I have done some here, I should be doing a rank also. I can say comma, and here I have to define something so that I get the rank. So what I should say, rank over, right? And I say partition by group id, partition by group id. So I have to say p dot group id. Okay, p dot group id from players table we are getting, right? uh, order by total score, DESC, descending order, right? Just have a look what I'm trying to do. Partition by group ID, uh, order by not total score. Total score we cannot use directly, right? Because we just derived this. How can we use it in the next column? So what's the definition of total score? We have to take that entire definition as such. We have to take that entire definition, and this was the definition. Because we cannot use total score, it will say invalid or it does not know that, right? So order by this particular thing. I'll just put it in the next line. This. right? So just have a look, order by this thing, right? Descending. Just have a look what I am trying to do, and you will understand this. And descending, and after that, one more thing, if there is a tie, then what you have to do, right? Then you remember there is second order player ID. By default, it is ascending, so it's fine. So in case of a tie, player with the lowest or lower player ID wins, right? So comma player ID. So in terms of, if you see partition by group ID, order by order by the score, right? But to get this score, we have used things still here, right? Because we just derived it in this, right? It's not available to us. So we get this score, and after that, player ID. I hope this is clear. Now, if I just run this, let's see, will this run or not? So you can see we are getting this 115 3 1 2 3. I mean, I should have given some alias name to this. 1 minute, because this is coming like this only. So I as rank as rnk. Now let me run it again so that it will give more clarity. So you can see this. We are getting the rank now, right? So just have a look. Group ID 1, player ID 15, right? Total score 3, rank is 1. Group ID 1, player ID 30, score 3, but rank 2. Why? Because there was a tie in total score. Then what was the breaker? Lower player ID wins. So you see this, right? I hope this makes sense. So we got this. Now, if you would have found this difficult, I mean, if you would have found this difficult because kind of we inside this could not score total score and all, then we could have done it little differently, this particular thing. Or I'll just say, or I'll just take this, I'll just take this, and what I will do is I'll take this, and if I could do in a subquery way, it would have been easier to derive this rank, right? To derive this rank, it was difficult because we didn't have this total score available with us, and we have to use it inside, right? So we could have said select group ID, player ID, uh, total score, comma, and since here we have already derived and I am using it as part of a subquery, outer query, right? So now I can use it. Rank over partition by partition by group ID, order by total score. This one I can directly use as part of the outer query, right? Total score DESC, comma player ID, right? From this table. Now you see this would be looking, even though number of lines of code is little more, but this will make it look much more neater, and it will be easy for you to interpret, right? So I would prefer this second approach rather than just messing up with this rank over and then inside this, right? So it become look stuff, but I want to show you all the approaches as such, right? If I run this, this will give me exactly the same result, right? And I say as rank as rnk. Okay, let's see, and we are still getting the same thing, right? I will just mention as. Okay, so you understood, and we got this particular thing. Now only thing is that we select group ID, player ID, and the rank, as simple as that, right? So how do we do that? How do we do that? Taken, let's say we take this and we want to get that. We can just say we want this as the output, right? So we can say select group ID, comma, player ID from this particular table, right? Or sub query, right? Let's say NL. I have to give alias, right? Where rank equal to 1. Where rank equal to 1. And if I just do this, I get the answer, the final answer, which will be the correct answer if we have not made any mistakes. And you see, this is accepted. So I try to run or show this using various step-by-step approaches, using CTEs, using subqueries. We have used window functions, and I mean this is a hard problem. I mean generally, I mean I would say only 1-2% people can solve these kind of problems ideally, right? A beginner or an intermediate level person will find it very hard to solve these problems. But if you can understand this, then you think that you are in top 1% of the crowd who knows SQL, right? I hope this would have made sense and you would have learned a lot from this session, because it's not that I just wanted to rush on the right answer. I want to show you my thought process in order to solve this. So with this, I'll end the session and I hope you liked it. Thanks a lot.